Behind cloister walls, the hidden reality of medieval nunnery life. Welcome to another revealing journey on the Disgusting Forgotten History channel. Today's video, Behind Cloister Walls, the hidden reality of medieval nunnery life, exposes the shocking truths of women who chose God over worldly life. Support our channel by subscribing as we unveil these forgotten stories. Follow this extraordinary tale to its powerful conclusion. First, the path to the veil, entering monastic life. Young daughters arrived at monastery gates clutching meager possessions while their families disappeared into morning mist. Noble fathers deposited surplus daughters here to avoid costly dowries that might bankrupt estates. These stone fortresses promised salvation, but delivered isolation from everything they had ever known or loved dearly. The heavy oak doors groaned shut behind 12-year-old girls who would never again see their childhood homes. Mothers wept outside thick walls, while daughters learned their fate had been sealed by birth order. Second and third daughters became brides of Christ, whether faith stirred their hearts or not at all. Peasant families sometimes offered daughters as payment for divine favor during plagues or failed harvests. These girls arrived barefoot and trembling before imposing abbesses who evaluated their worthiness for monastic life. The poor daughters brought empty hands, but desperate hearts seeking shelter from starvation and violent men outside. Widows fled to convents, carrying grief and bruises from marriages that had destroyed their spirits completely. Behind these walls, they found sanctuary from relatives eager to claim their property through forced remarriage. The monastery offered protection, but demanded complete surrender of worldly identity and personal freedom forever. Some women genuinely heard divine calling and approached monastery gates with joy, despite families' tearful protests. These rare souls embraced austere life gladly, while sharing quarters with reluctant sisters forced into service. The mixture created tension as devoted nuns judged those who clearly yearned for abandoned worlds beyond. Initial weeks brought brutal adjustment as novices learned elaborate rituals governing every moment of existence here. Hair was shorn beneath rough veils, while soft clothing was replaced with scratchy habits of coarse wool. Former identities dissolved as they received new religious names, severing connections to previous lives entirely. The transformation ceremony marked death to the world as young women lay prostrate on cold stone floors. Black cloth covered their bodies, symbolizing burial, while prayers echoed through vaulted chambers above trembling forms. Rising from symbolic death, they emerged as brides of Christ bound by vows until actual death claimed them. Second, daily rituals and sacred suffering. Bells shattered sleep at 2 in morning darkness, summoning sisters to first prayers of 8 daily offices. Bare feet touched freezing stones as nuns shuffled through corridors, lit only by occasional candles flickering weakly. The chapel's bone-chilling cold penetrated thin habits, while lengthy Latin prayers numbed lips and minds equally. After matins came brief return to hard palates before bells announced Lauds at dawn's first light. Sleep deprivation was considered holy suffering that brought souls closer to God through physical torment. Many sisters hallucinated from exhaustion, interpreting visions as divine revelations rather than symptoms of systematic sleep denial. Breakfast consisted of rough bread and watered ale, consumed in mandated silence at long wooden tables below. The refectory's rules demanded eyes remain downcast while one sister read scripture aloud during meals. Speaking brought punishment of reduced rations, though stomach growls echoed through the austere hall despite strict regulations. Between prayers came labor, as nuns toiled in gardens, kitchens, and scriptoriums, copying manuscripts by candlelight. Wealthy convents employed servants, but poor houses required sisters to perform all manual tasks themselves. Blistered hands from farming tools became badges of holy suffering offered up for souls in purgatory waiting. The afternoon brought more prayers, more work, and perhaps thin vegetable soup if harvests had been adequate. Meat appeared only for the infirm, while healthy sisters sustained themselves on bread, beans, and occasional eggs. Constant hunger gnawed at bellies, while superiors preached that empty stomachs brought filled souls through suffering. Evening vespers preceded the day's single substantial meal of porridge, bread, and preserved vegetables or fruit. Compline prayers ended daily routine as exhausted nuns returned to cells furnished only with straw pallets. The Great Silence began, forbidding speech until morning bells resumed the endless cycle of prayer and deprivation. Self-flagellation followed Friday prayers as sisters whipped backs with knotted cords, drawing blood for Christ. The chapter house echoed with leather striking flesh, while some sisters competed in zealous displays of suffering. These sessions left permanent scars that older nuns wore proudly as evidence of accumulated holy suffering through decades. Third, forbidden knowledge and secret power. Behind convent walls flourished Europe's most educated women who read and wrote, while secular sisters remained illiterate. Monastery libraries contained treasures of classical knowledge preserved through centuries of political chaos and warfare outside. Clever abbesses recognized that learning brought power even as male clergy preached female intellectual inferiority constantly. Nuns operated scriptoriums producing illuminated manuscripts that rivaled any monastery's artistic achievements throughout Christendom entirely. Their delicate paintings adorned prayer books commissioned by wealthy patrons seeking heavenly favor through earthly donations. These works generated income that freed convents from complete dependence on church authorities who might restrict autonomy. Secret correspondence networks connected convents across kingdoms as nuns exchanged information affecting political and religious developments. Abbesses maintained relationships with powerful families whose daughters resided within their walls as insurance policies. Through these connections, cloistered women influenced succession disputes, marriage alliances, and even papal elections from supposed isolation. Medical knowledge accumulated as nuns treated illness with herbs grown in extensive monastery gardens behind walls. They documented symptoms, remedies, and outcomes in detailed records that advanced medieval medical understanding significantly. Male physicians might publicly dismiss female healers, yet privately consulted nunnery infirmaries when conventional treatments failed repeatedly. Some convents harbored extensive musical traditions as sisters composed hymns and developed complex polyphonic arrangements secretly. The church restricted women's musical participation, yet behind closed doors, sophisticated compositions emerged from feminine creativity. These musical manuscripts survived centuries, revealing artistic achievements that challenged contemporary assumptions about female cultural contributions. Theological debates raged in chapter houses as educated nuns questioned doctrine despite male monopoly on interpretation. Mystical writings by sisters like Hildegard of Bingen challenged church authority through claimed divine visions carefully. These texts walked dangerous lines between heresy and accepted revelation, while advancing alternative spiritual perspectives subtly. Financial records demonstrate nuns' sophisticated understanding of economics as they managed vast estates and commercial enterprises. Successful abbesses negotiated with merchants, oversaw agricultural production, and accumulated wealth, rivaling noble houses significantly. This economic power provided leverage against bishops who might otherwise impose stricter controls over convent independence. Fourth, the body's betrayal, disease and discipline. Monastery infirmaries overflowed with sisters suffering from tuberculosis, pneumonia, and mysterious wasting diseases throughout cold seasons. Damp cells, poor nutrition, and exhaustion created perfect conditions for contagion spreading rapidly through communities. Young nuns watched older sisters cough blood into rough cloths while knowing similar fates likely awaited them. Monthly cycles brought particular shame, as menstruation was considered evidence of female spiritual contamination requiring isolation. Bleeding nuns were barred from touching sacred objects or participating in certain rituals until purification ended. The lack of proper hygiene supplies meant using rough cloth rags that caused infections and constant discomfort. Fasting regulations pushed bodies beyond endurance as competitive holiness drove some sisters toward deadly self-starvation gradually. What modern medicine recognizes as anorexia appeared as holy anorexia that supposedly demonstrated superior spiritual devotion. Skeletal nuns were venerated as living saints while their bodies consumed themselves in pursuit of impossible purity. Pregnancy scandals erupted when monastery walls failed to prevent human nature from asserting itself inevitably somehow. Priests conducting confessions sometimes exploited vulnerable sisters, while male servants posed constant temptation and danger equally. Pregnant nuns faced imprisonment, starvation or worse, while their infants were removed immediately after birth forever. Mental illness manifested through extreme behaviors that monasteries interpreted as either divine possession or demonic influence unpredictably. Sisters experiencing what modern psychology would diagnose as schizophrenia or severe depression faced exorcisms, isolation, or accusations of witchcraft. The monastery's response depended entirely on whether superiors viewed symptoms as holy or unholy manifestations. Skin diseases spread through shared clothing and communal bathing practices that monasteries rarely questioned or modified. Scabies, ringworm, and infectious rashes tormented sisters who scratched bloodied skin raw beneath rough habits. Treatment consisted of prayer and herbal poultices that rarely provided relief from constant itching and open sores. Death arrived frequently as young women succumbed to diseases that simple nutrition and rest might have prevented. Cemetery plots filled with sisters who never reached their 30th year of life or religious service. Each death was celebrated as glorious union with Christ, while survivors knew their own graves awaited nearby. Fifth, breaking points, scandal, and salvation. Midnight escapes occurred when desperate nuns could no longer endure imprisonment within supposedly voluntary religious life. They climbed walls, bribed guards, or disguised themselves as servants fleeing into dangerous unknown worlds outside. Recaptured escapees faced solitary confinement in underground cells where many chose death over continued captivity ultimately. Love affairs between nuns shattered communities when discovered, despite church insistence that women lacked sexual desires naturally. Passionate relationships developed in environments where human touch was forbidden, yet emotional intimacy was unavoidable constantly. Discovered lovers faced separation, punishment, or accusations of witchcraft, depending on abbesses' inclinations toward mercy or severity. Political upheavals brought soldiers crashing through monastery gates to loot treasures and assault terrified sisters repeatedly. Wars between kingdoms turned convents into battlegrounds where religious status provided no protection from violence. Survivors carried trauma that prayers could never heal, while communities struggled to rebuild destroyed sanctuaries and shattered lives. Reformation movements gave some nuns unexpected liberation as Protestant reforms dissolved monasteries across Northern Europe entirely. Former sisters emerged blinking into sunlight after decades of confinement, facing futures they never imagined possible. Some married hastily, while others discovered they had internalized religious life too deeply for successful worldly reintegration. Miraculous healings and visions brought fame to certain convents as pilgrims flocked, seeking divine intervention through sisters' intercession. These events generated wealth, but also scrutiny from church authorities suspicious of female religious authority manifesting independently. Walking the line between sanctity and heresy required political skills that successful abbesses mastered through necessity. Documents hidden in monastery walls revealed generations of sisters who documented injustices they witnessed but couldn't publicly address. These secret testimonies described sexual abuse, financial corruption, and violence that official records never acknowledged existing. Modern discoveries of these hidden accounts provide voices to women history tried to silence forever completely. Paradise appeared for fortunate few who found genuine spiritual fulfillment within monastery walls, despite harsh realities everywhere. These sisters described mystical experiences of divine union that transcended physical suffering through transcendent joy unexplainable. Their testimonies suggest some women discovered in monastic life what they genuinely sought: connection to something greater than themselves. The hidden world of medieval nuns reveals humanity's complex relationship with faith, power, and survival. These forgotten women endured unimaginable hardships while creating spaces of female authority within patriarchal societies. Their stories remind us that history's margins often contain its most profound truths. If this journey behind cloister walls moved you, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Support the Disgusting Forgotten History channel as we continue uncovering the silenced voices of our shared past.